like Dune, like all the Dune movies for sure are a lot better on a big screen.
I still haven't seen the second one. I liked the first. The first Dune I saw was the one from the 70s or early 80s that Kyle told me to watch. And in Kyle's defense, he said, watch it because this is the most ridiculous, silly nonsense ever. And it was. And then I watched the first Dune where Dune fans were like, don't be poisoned by the 1981 version. It's epic. It's cool now. And that one was pretty sick. And I still haven't seen Dune 2. A couple of my friends who were stoked on Dune 1 were disappointed in Dune 2, and that kind of slowed my roll. Yeah.
I didn't hear anything but the opposite, because the first Dune, he has to set up this really complex universe. Like Dune is like just as complex as Game of Thrones in terms of all the competing interests and like the Landsrat and the Spicing Guild, and there's just so many different moving parts. And so he spent like the first hour and a half of that movie just kind of setting everything up. But the second movie is like a war epic. It's like an epic war film. And there's tons of action, and it's like a really visceral experience. But
I'll tell you why I did. So I love the first one. I have some interest in the novels. I've read a couple of them. I know how they end, and I even like the old one. But in the second movie, I found Zendaya to be insufferable. Even on the movie poster, she's like in front of Paul, like. And I'm not one of those people who like they're the subreddits where they like take pictures of a guy and the girl, and they're like, oh, the loser lean into her, and she's got they like analyze like who's leaning which way and who's like their arm where. But Zendaya's like walking in front of Paul, and it's like he's a god, or he's about to be. Like why wouldn't he be? And then there's the part at the end. The whole movie she's insufferable, like pouty faced and angry, and the editing seemed haphazard. It seemed like we were missing. It's already a long movie, but I felt like it should have been longer. It needed to be. The mother, after she drinks the blue goo, it's like the next time we see her, she's in full like priestess mode. We didn't get to see her sort of make that transition and accept that, and how that we didn't get to see Paul be like, oh shit, mom, you're some sort of weird face tattooed priestess now. Like I would have liked to have been there when she was getting all them face tattoos. That was wild. We missed that. The whole point of that goo though is like as soon as she drinks it, she is now basically she shares a collective consciousness with all the previous Reverend Mothers, and so it immediately changes them. So I know what the goo is.
Kind of jarring.
It just felt like time moved forward too. It wasn't like we jumped forward, and she had already went to the south, and they'd already gotten all the tribes people together for the big meeting where everybody's voting on whether Paul's going to lead them or whatever that meeting was exactly. And then at the very end, once we win the big battle, and Paul has his cool ass knife fight. What does he say? May your blade be break and chip or something.
May that knife chip and shatter. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool as shit. Love that. Then he fucking kills that mongoloid with the knife. And then they're like, all right, for peace in the galaxy, you must marry this hot ass white chick. And Zendaya's all like, don't marry the hot ass white chick. I don't want peace in the galaxy. And it's like, dude, if my girlfriend needed to go marry the prince of the galaxy to make galactic peace, it's been good while it lasted. But peace in the galaxy sounds like it's much more important than our simple little love affair here, my love.
So
goodbye.
That was a big narrative change that Denis Villeneuve did from the books, because in the books she's way more subservient. She treats him like a god, and she helps raise his children and stuff. And so he changed that for the movie to sort of, because the whole point of the movie is not to celebrate Paul as this traditional hero. He's kind of like an anti-hero. Like the author of the Dune books wrote him because he wanted to warn people against like putting your faith in charismatic leaders like JFK and Lenin and Mao. Like he was a libertarian. He hated, communist and like liberals just the same.
Mm-hmm. And, Warhammer steals a lot from Dune. Yeah.
No, but he changed her character because he wanted to use her to sort of like center the film morally. So she's the one that's noticing that he is ascending in this way to become like a god to them, and she doesn't like that. So like that's
I don't think he's shown any signs of like, ooh, you shouldn't have done that. That's morally ambiguous. I feel like he's been like straight down the line and just a god prince. Like I know, like spoilers for the books and how this all ends, but Paul decides that the best way to unite the galaxy and create peace, he's like, everyone needs one thing to go against. Like, and I can't lead the galaxy to peace, but I can drive it to peace. If I become the problem, if I become so awful that the entire galaxy has to unite against me, then wait, the entire galaxy is united? Well, we just won. That's where this is going.
Wow,
that and he turns into a giant worm man.
So it's actually Paul's kid, Leto too. His kid is the one that becomes like he becomes a worm and then rules like a tyrant for 3,000 years, and then the people like revolt against him, and then he reveals at the end like it was my plan the entire time, so that you never like trust a leader ever again or something. Yeah.
And that will ensure lasting peace of people who feel tricked and that no leader can be believed.
Yeah.
And that's what he was really going for. That's retarded, dude. Like I haven't watched these movies or read these books, but if that's the way it ends, where he's like, actually, I'm in a position of supreme power, but I need to be a shithead so that people temporarily cast aside their differerences to fight me and then immediately go back to tribal infighting.
Yeah. Wasn't the writer into Islam too? Because there's lots of notes of that.
So the Fremen it mixes is it Sunni Islam and Zen Buddhism. So like it's like a fictional, it's like imagining human beings 10,000 years in the future. Yeah. And so it's not like the same religion, so it's like a fusion of the two. But interestingly enough, there are actual space Jews. And Judaism is the only religion that survived the Butlerian Jihad in like 10,000 years, and nobody knows where the space Jews are.
Are there space Palestinians?
I don't think so. No,
not anymore.
So they went and hid. Like the space Jews were like, we're getting the fuck out of here, and so they just like bounced, and nobody knows where they are. But
the space Jews, did they change from regular Jews into a new kind of Jew, Judaism.
Or just? It's like literally the only religion that survives all the human evolution that happens over the next thousands of years. Yeah, Dune's great, man. I fucking love it. It's great.
It sounds cool. I like those epics, and so I need to watch the second one. It's
foundational for science fiction and for big stories like that, and lots of other sci-fi things have taken from it. Even the way they travel with those big space folding ships that are so large they're almost incomprehensible in some of those matte paintings. I like all that stuff. I like the idea of there being those future religions. I think they call their war on Dune a jihad, even.
Yeah. They do.
But literally, I got mad by woke Zendaya. Maybe I'm fragile.
You thought she didn't have enough facial features? Like she was always too surly?
She's so pouty and surly and angry all the time. It's like she's always on her period and mad because there aren't tampons in the desert or something. I don't know what. Oh, because I guess because that suit's cycling it back and making her drink it or something. I was
going to say, I think the still suit would probably absorb her menstruation.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
that's horrid.
Yeah.
And so she's jealous that the king of the universe isn't interested in her.
It's not even that. He still loves her, but it's like a marriage of peace, sort of like in medieval times.
Well, he's got to do it then. That's the way it goes.
So like Paul's mom is planting the seeds. Like she's spreading sort of like prophecy about her son among the Fremen people in an effort to like manipulate them into thinking that he's a Messiah. And Paul sees her doing this and he doesn't like it or whatever, but then he ends up kind of doing that anyways because he felt like he had no choice. He like had to take the blue goo to beat the Harkonnen.
But here's the thing. So believing in the greater good and the ends justifying the means fails because you're just a man. The person coming up with these ideas are just men. Okay. They can't think that, but Paul isn't a man anymore. He's borderline demigod. So I'm like, oh, greater good. Is it demigod Paul? Okay, let's do it then. Lie to the Fremen. They need to be deceived so that we can rally them together. Greater good. It just when you work into the story that he's a demigod and that she can see the fucking future and the past, it's like, let's just do what they say.
Yeah. It's supposed to be really morally confusing. Like it kind of contradicts itself by the end of the whole thing. Cause his son becoming the worm and then ultimately like doing what he did and getting the humans to stop fighting, like to cooperate and stop trusting leaders or whatever. It like justifies all the like bad stuff that he did. So there's no like real clear moral answer. I think the author was basically just cautioning against things just broadly, but not really. I mean, it is very confusing.
Sure. And it's it's written quite a while ago. I liked it. I like parts of it, but it felt like it had been edited by the studio to get that runtime, and that if there were a director's cut, it would be at least 40 minutes longer, and it would benefit from those 40 minutes. Yeah. Is how it felt after watching it, and that turned me off, because I'm here to watch a 3-hour movie. You can't get it done? Aren't you doing a trilogy of 3-hour movies? You still can't get it done? It's like, maybe you should have been.
Oh, there's only 3.
I think they're doing the third one now. They're starting to do production on the third one now, and that'll probably be it. I think that one combines Messiah and Children of Dune. So there's like Messiah is the second book, and then Children of Dune is the third. So I think they're doing like both of those. But
I got to catch up on it. Need something
Fuck you.
I've seen the first one. I've seen more of that series than I have Terminator.
That's disgusting. I've watched more documentaries about Terminator 2 than you've watched Terminator movies. It's upsetting. It lets me down. It makes me think less of you as a man.
Not him. The fact that Taylor wasn't exposed to Terminator growing up is a form of child abuse.
It's like, what were you doing?
I'll never forgive them.
I was in the woods a lot.
Literally, I was going to say smashing rocks together by yourself, and you're like, yeah.
I was damming up creeks and building a lot of forts in the woods.
Terminator 2 was the first R-rated film that my parents let me watch, and I think I was 9.
Might have been mine too. I was 5 though.
And I had already seen Terminator 1 at home. They would like kick me out of the room when like bloody scenes would come on. And I'd seen the trailers. It was fucking hype as shit with like Guns N' Roses playing in the background. And it was just like an event. And then the day comes along. My mom's like, I just don't feel comfortable with this. And I like ran to my room, like crying. And then my dad comes in and he goes, I convinced her you can go. Like my dad fucking came through in the clutch. And there was
big shout out to Hutch's dad. That was a cool move. One of the best things
he ever did for me in my life, for sure. But
there was no rating policy.
Be a longer list.
There was no rating policy in my house for movies. Like I watched everything growing up. My grandma in particular, like we would watch R-rated movies all the time. She loved Arnold Schwarzenegger. She loved Sigourney Weaver. So Aliens and Terminator we watched a ton of times.